To the first episode of Eidolon Pop, a playtest actual play adventure to see if the game that me and Molly wrote is any good. I'm your host and your GM, Luke. I'm joined by most of the party that's going to be in this campaign. We have got Ty.
Hey, it's me, I'm Ty.
We've got Fabi.
Hi, it's me, I'm Fabi.
We've got Mike.
Hi, it's me. I'm Mike.
And
I guess that's just how we're introducing ourselves.
And we have Crystal.
Hi, it's me. I'm Crystal.
Unfortunately...
Yeah, I hope you all know we have to do this the same exact way every single time we record now. We have to.
You really don't.
No, we gotta do it the same way every time we record, except for when the final villain shows up, and then they interrupt us.
We have to sound as artificial and robotic as possible and really freak Zoe out when she's here next time.
Yeah, Zoe, unfortunately, could not be here, even though she is part of this campaign. I don't know if people have, watched any news at all lately, but hell is happening, and it makes scheduling things complicated sometimes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hopefully it will not be an ongoing problem, and she'll be able to join us for the next session we record, but yeah, unfortunately she can't be here today, and we're going to have to kind of make do without her. If in the future you hear her suddenly join in on this episode, know that it's because I'm cutting in audio from a future recording session.
But it'll be seamless to you because of the magic of editing.
It'll be so seamless when a person who hasn't talked for 45 minutes suddenly starts talking.
Yeah, I was going to say, seamless is a strong word to put here.
Yeah. So, I put a word out to, 15 people to see who I could rope into playtesting this game, and you are 5 of the people who I got to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Me and Molly talked about it a little bit on kind of the episode 0 that we did, but this game is going to be based a little bit on Persona. The game we've written, Eidolon, is kind of inspired in equal parts by the Persona games and by JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. This campaign is going to be leaning more into the Persona side of things, and we need to do some character creation before we get started.
Yeah.
I have a couple pages of GM notes, but, those are useless until we got characters.
It's probably also worth establishing, just for the sake of the listener, that I believe most, if not all of us, have played in a tabletop game that Luke has GM'd before.
Yeah, I think I've GM'd for... I have technically GM'd for, I think, everybody but Crystal at least once.
Yeah, but I've played with Ty before.
Yeah!
I played with Luke.
Yeah, you played in... I did a smaller playtest run that we didn't publish anywhere, and you were in that. I think that's the only time I've GM'd for you.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, we're gonna create some characters. It's we've been planning this for over a week now, so I think most of y'all have at least some idea of what you're making. But if you don't, that's also fine. I guess just to kind of give us some grounding, I'm just gonna look at what I've got written down in the introduction section of this book. Eidolon campaigns are about people who can challenge the awesome power of their own souls and use that power to fight to change the world. As players, you'll portray individuals who can summon spirits called Eidolons. Eidolons are beings with supernatural abilities that reflect their master's personality and psyche. An Eidolon is a literalized representation of your ability to assert your will on reality, and commanding an Eidolon vastly expands your ability to do just that. There is, however, a downside to wielding this power. An Eidolon is a raw, unprotected distillation of who its master really is, deep down in the most secret parts of themselves. Summoning one into the world means showing everyone who you really are. Maybe even more frighteningly, it means confronting yourself with who you really are. This is a game about self-acceptance and self-improvement. It's about seizing the power within yourself to fight for the world you believe in. It's about the power of the individual and the even greater power of uncompromising friendship. And last but not least, this is a game about kick-ass fights with magical soul powers. So I'm excited to do that. That sounds like a fun thing to me.
Yeah.
Are you ready to confront the true nature of your very soul?
Yeah.
Never, but that's
I'm ready to confront
unrelated.
the true nature of my character's soul. Not mine.
Wait, I mean, y'all are in, like, working your deep emotional, personal traumas through your characters? Maybe we
Now,
should
some
never.
extent.
So we did a little bit of prep work on this in advance, just so people had an idea of what to plan for. This game is going to be set at a university that I have many paragraphs of very stupid backstory about that we might get to later. And most of you are going to be students at this university, but Ty, you are not. You are a professor. And I think what we settled on is that you teach a class that only has 4 students in it, who are the other 4 members of the party.
Yes. I don't know how into the background we want to get, but basically my character came up with a class with the hopes that no one would get into it, so he could just kind of chill in that and have a free period. And you guys, you all somehow found a way to get into my class, so I guess I'm teaching you.
Right.
You solved my scheduling riddle.
So mechanically, it's a little weird to start with you, Ty, because of the playbook you have, but from a sort of narrative perspective, I don't know, I think maybe we should just start with your character.
Okay, yeah, I got some stuff.
So your playbook is the veteran, which basically means that you have had some cool adventures in the past, and that's kind of behind you now, but, you know, when you need to, you can still tap into that cool shit you used to do.
Yeah, I'm basically your, veteran is good. That's a good way to say it. I had more stuff back in the day, but now I'm kind of relaxing and enjoying not confronting the nature of my very soul and fighting weird monsters.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I don't think this character archetype exists in the Persona games that much, just because all the heroes are cool teens.
Yeah, I was trying to think of that. Robots? Do robots count? Are robots sold?
Who are you thinking of? Like Aegis?
Or the other robot that shows up in the other one.
Oh, from the fighting game? Yeah.
Although, like, if even if it's not a thing in Persona, like RPGs have like the grizzled veteran.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
In the party,
yeah.
like I know it's because I'm obsessed with this game, but in my mind, Drachma from Skies of Arcadia springs to mind.
Sure, definitely.
I think the way to think about it in Persona ways is that Ty is playing that connection that's always really important with, like, a mentor figure. It just happens that they also have a persona this time.
Yeah, you're like Sojiro from the coffee shop in Persona 5.
Hell yeah.
But you also have a persona.
You're Cop Dad from Persona 4.
Yeah.
Yes, good. I want to evoke all of those things. I more thought, what I was thinking of was like, oh yeah, like Kakashi. I'm like, Kakashi.
Yeah, Kakashi from my favorite Persona, Naruto.
Ty, I think you mentioned before that you wanted to do something where, in classic JRPG fashion, being the older mentor type, you're like 26.
Yeah, this guy is in his like later 30s maybe, and it's like, wow, this guy is just so old. He's like, yeah, I've really got it together. And he's just like, you know, like Sid Highwind from Final Fantasy VII, where he's like 32, and everyone's like, oh, this grizzled war vet.
Right. Do you have a name for your character?
No. Quentin is a good first name. I'm gonna think of, yeah.
All right, I'll put that in here for now. I've got a spreadsheet that's just got spaces for everything. It's kind of, we don't have proper character sheets yet because I haven't made those yet. But here's a spreadsheet with everything for everybody in it. You can feel free to kind of copy your stuff into a document for your own. But this is also kind of a nice reference point because it's got everybody's information in here.
Nice.
I have a pen and paper.
Fantastic. And Ty, do you have a name for your Eidolon?
Ooh, We don't have to stick solely to conventions, because I was thinking Speaker Box The Love Below, the double album by Outkast, or maybe just Outkast. I'm bad about
All
making
good.
decisions.
Yeah, we kind of sort of agreed in advance that kind of in the JoJo spirit, and because this campaign is called Eidolon Pop, all of your Eidolons would be named after pop songs or pop bands.
So yeah, one of those two is probably the name.
But also, pop is a broad category. We can you can fit just about anything into it.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first thing you said?
The classic double album Speaker Box The Love Below, or just Outkast, the name of the band.
Okay, I like both of those. I'm gonna write Speaker Box The Love Below for now. Mm-hmm. Is that with a? Okay, I'm revealing how little I know about music.
Outkast?
Is that like with a colon or parentheses or?
It's generally like a, what's it called? / /
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Isn't Speaker Box spelled with like 2 X's or something? at
3
the end?
X's.
Yeah.
3 X's.
3 X's. You got it.
No,
I'm very cool and I know all about music.
Everyone needs to listen to more Outcasts. Anyway.
All right. So like we said, you're playing as the veteran. Your Eidolon power is phrased as, my Eidolon can provide crucial support by blank. How do you want to fill in that blank?
all right, so I'm thinking threads. They are able to, create threads.
Okay.
And since one of the things about the veteran is you can tap into your old power. His old power used to be to take sound, form threads, and to make it to birds, which is very elaborate and complicated, and he kind of figured it out one day. I just can make threads. You can do a lot with string.
Yeah.
And it ties into them kind of being spider-like. I'm trying to lean into the, trickster, Anansi kind of thing here, and it can has a bunch of eyes, and he can see different things. That's what I'm leaning into here, and I think it's to get to the history of the character, maybe when they were younger, it was more of a spider thing, but now it's kind of changed a bit as their soul has changed a bit.
That makes sense. Something I kind of wanted to talk to you about, just because I don't want us to have to sit down and work out the entirety of your character's backstory.
Yeah.
What if we said, obviously they went on some kind of big, JRPG adventure, and they know that they did that, but for whatever reason, it's kind of a hazy memory. It's I don't know, I did some kind of shit, and, but, I don't know, I've got this teaching job now, that's fine. And we can kind of, fill in the details as we go.
Yes. I'm down with that. I'm down with anytime someone asks on screen, that's not important.
Yeah, exactly.
You think maybe that could be sort of an it part 2 thing where they don't remember until they get back into it, and then oh, right, this happens.
That's kind of what I had in mind,
Ooh,
yeah.
Okay, I like that, yeah.
Although also, maybe not, remembering everything all at once, getting it in, fits and starts.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way the veteran works, like you said, you choose a different playbook that you used to be, and yours was the alchemist, and you said that power is, my Eidolon can transform any sounds it touches into threads. Is that right?
Yeah.
I love it. And let me grab your base overdrive, because that's going to be the same for every veteran. So you're starting with 3 overdrive, and we can explain what that is when it comes up and it's relevant. You're starting with 1 damage and 1 armor. Do you want to just go with the default stats, or do you want to customize them at all here?
Default stats again are...
So I guess we should run through what the stats are in this game.
Yeah.
They're pretty much the same stats that are in most kinda PBTA games, but they've got different names, because that's what you do. So the stats are powerful, elegant, genius, glamorous, and bizarre. Or they're abbreviated as POW, Ella, Gen, Glam, and Biz. I think they're mostly self-explanatory. It's strength, dexterity, intelligence, and charisma. And then bizarre is sort of similar to... is it weird in Apocalypse World? I think that's right. Yeah. It's kind of, how you're in touch with the world beyond the physical. So for the veteran, the default stats are 0 POW, 0 Ella, 2 Gen, 1 Glam, -1 Biz.
I mostly like that. I think I may switch Jin and Glam,
Okay.
just to kind of move. Instead of like solving really complicated things, he's doing more getting by on charisma and like
Yeah, I like that.
trickery. So.
All right. And then your starting moves from this playbook, I can just read them out, just, for the people at home. Your starting moves are, like old times, spend 1 overdrive to use your former playbook's Eidolon power to use your former playbook's damage and armor when dealing or taking damage, or to use a starting or advanced move from your former playbook. Spend 2 overdrive to use a master move from your former playbook. Master moves are just the ones you unlock at higher level. So you can use any move from the Alchemist playbook, it just costs you overdrive to do it. And some of those moves have their own overdrive costs, so it can get expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also have Overextend. At any time, you can lose 2 HP to gain 1 overdrive. So you can kind of, take damage in order to do more stuff. And then you've got First Aid. Take the Healing Touch move from the Alchemist playbook, even if your Eidolon doesn't have healing powers. If the Alchemist is your former playbook, which it is, you don't need to use Like Old Times to use your Healing Touch. If your Eidolon doesn't have healing powers, you'll heal your allies using your own medical know-how, roll plus gen instead of plus tie. You may also take Combat Medic when you level up. You can use Healing Touch on yourself, but not Combat Medic.
So, I have a cool thing for this. I don't know if we should save it for play, but my idea is if I use Healing Touch, like my giant spider gangster, like sews up your wound with thread. It's like real fast, like stitching.
Yeah, alright, yeah, I think that works, for sure. So that means you'll roll plus tie when you heal folks, since you're not using, First Aid to do it. And we'll get into ties later in this whole process. So the last thing here is, starting out, you get to take 1 advanced move from the Veteran Playbook that you just get. Do you know what you want to take?
Oh man, I did, and I've completely forgotten.
How about I move on to the next person on this list while you look it over?
Good.
All right. Fabi, you're the next person whose name I wrote down, so let's go with you.
Hi, yeah, it's me. It's Fabi. Hi.
What's your character's deal?
So I'm playing the Inhuman. So we're starting off with all the most normal types of characters. I'm gonna read what the Inhuman says because I think it's cool.
Okay.
You're a Shade, a creature from the Undertow, which means you have broken the rules. You're kind of not supposed to live in this world, let alone have an Eidolon. Do you have an Eidolon? If so, it's not really clear where it ends and you begin. Regardless, sooner or later, all this is gonna come back to bite you. And well, no sense dwelling on it now. You're here, and you're you, and you're not about to let anyone forget that. Fade in, take form, and assert your truth.
Yeah. So you are a mysterious shadow creature who is not meant to be part of the real world, and yet you are anyway. Mm-hmm. And yeah,
It'd be like that sometimes.
It do be like that sometimes. Give me some details on who your character is.
So, normally, especially in the Undertow, I think whenever we're in the Undertow, she is a bear girl. She is a bear.
Okay.
She has a snout, ears, kind of anthropomorphized bear. I'm not thinking it super cartoony or super realistic. Something in between, something both. Probably leaning more cartoony than realistic or even weird cat's monstrosity. Cutesier than maybe that.
Okay.
Her name, because I'm very good at names, and also based on the previous names in the Persona series, I was thinking her name is Ursa.
Okay.
But when she went to the world, to the human world, someone misheard it as Ursula, and she's been too awkward to correct anyone.
Okay, I'm gonna put Ursa, aka Ursula, in here. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. And do you know the name of her Eidolon?
Yes, her Eidolon is Revolution Lover.
Revolution Lover. Good. And what is its power? So the Inhuman's power is my Eidolon can blank. Mm-hmm. It can be literally anything.
My Eidolon can turn into any weapon and hurt my enemies and heal my friends.
My Eidolon can turn into any weapon
that hurts my enemies and heals my friends. That
hurts
sounds
my
better.
enemies and heals my friends. Got it? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's... Because the thing with the Inhuman is that, like, you are your Eidolon, even more so than anyone else. Like, it's kind of like, it's all one thing, but you have, like, a weapon that can shapeshift however you want it to.
So the way I've been picturing it is, it's a little heart about the size of her head, cartoon heart, that has, like, kind of like a ring, like a purple, bluish metallic ring around it, flying at all times, and she just like reaches up to it and grabs it, and then it turns into a sword, a rocket launcher, anything she needs that can, if she hits an enemy, it hurts. If she like stabs a friend with the sword, it heals them. Because I think that's kind of interesting.
Okay.
And when she's in her human disguise, which we'll get to later, it just looks like a heart-shaped backpack. It goes into her back.
That's cool. Yeah, Ty, actually, that brings up a good point I forgot about. What does Speakerbox / The Love Below look like?
All right, so very tall, very thin, kind of humanoid, but spider. It's got 8 arms, and it's got 2 legs, and I guess 3 pairs of arms. 8 eyes for the face, and it's in a suit, and it's smoking a stogie. It's a spider gangster. There we go.
Fantastic. Also, can I make a suggestion with the name? What if, because the whole thing is that it has sort of changed what it is over time, what if Speakerbox is what you call the veteran form of it, and the Love Below is what it used to be called when it was an alchemist, and kind of what it shapeshifts into when you use your alchemist powers?
I dig it. I love it. There we go.
Great. Fantastic. All right. So Fabi, back to you. So you've got 2 base overdrive. Everyone's starting with 7 HP. You have 1 armor, 1 damage. What are your stats?
So the base stats originally for the Inhuman, I'm going to change them for a second, are 1 power, 0 elegance, 0 genius, -1 glamour, and 2 bizarre. I'm keeping the bizarre. I'm keeping the elegance, but this character is going to be a -1 genius character, not a 0 genius.
Okay.
And I'm switching power to 0 and glamour to 1.
Glamour to 1. Okay, so that's 0 power, 0 elegance, -1 genius, 1 glam, 2 biz.
Yeah, the way I'm picturing her is that she is awkward and dorky, but it kind of works for her because people don't expect her to be a weird shadow creature. It's just like, oh, she's that kooky girl that has a weird sense of fashion and says things weird, but it's kind of adorable.
I gotcha. Yeah. All right, so I mistakenly copied the wrong starting moves into this spreadsheet, but you have got... your Eidolon has healing powers, so it can use Healing Touch from the Alchemist playbook. Got a lot of healers in this group, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's sure.
Yeah. The starting moves for the Inhuman are Wanderer. You can disappear from this world by moving into the Undertow, which is the game's name for sort of the shadow world, but only for a second or 2 before returning. If you use this ability to beat the odds, which is a basic move, we'll get to it, roll plus biz instead of plus Ellie. And your other starting move is Anomaly. Your sheet has a dissonance clock set to 1 o'clock. If you've played PBTA games before, clocks work the same way here that they do everywhere else. Basically, it's just a way to track something that is going to happen in the future.
Clocks. I like clocks.
Yeah, so it starts off set to 1. As it advances, the Undertow will encroach more and more upon this world in the area surrounding you, causing strange and unpredictable effects. When your dissonance clock hits midnight, something from the Undertow will come to take you back by force. Advance your dissonance clock by 1 hour every time you roll plus biz, and you get a -6 or a 6-. When you roll a 6 or less.
I'm definitely not hurting others by wanting to be around people. This is totally safe and fine.
Right, exactly. And then you get an advanced move. Do you know what you want? Well, I think we
Yes.
talked about what you want.
Yes, I'm taking facade.
Facade.
As long as the dissonant clock is at 4 p.m. or less, you can make yourself look like a human being, which in this case, she looks... This is the way I'm picturing. She looks like herself, but she's not a bear. She's a girl. She looks about 20, 22, 23 maybe at the most. She has short hair that is just like her bear hair, but like, oh, it's now cute short bob, like, or like pixie cut type thing. Yeah. And you can turn back to normal at will, but when the dissonance clock advances to 5 o'clock, you will gradually revert to your true form, even if you don't want to. If you try to maintain your facade plus 4, then every time the dissonance clock advances, an hour, roll plus glam. On a 10 plus, you keep up your facade until the dissonance clock advances 2 more hours. On a 7 to 9, you keep up your facade until the dissonance clock advances 1 more hour. On a 6 minus, you instantly revert to your true form.
Nice. I will say, the next round of edits I'm doing on this book, my main priority is getting the word count down on some of these longer abilities.
That's valid.
Yeah. Definitely want to make them a little snappier to read.
So yeah, that's the advanced move I'm taking.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you can look like a person. So what, like, in a very rough sense, like, what's your character's backstory? Like, why are they here? What are they doing?
Yeah, the way I'm picturing it, I don't know what you want from the Undertow or what you're going with, but what I'm thinking is, based on kind of the Persona games, the Undertow sucks. Everyone's not like everyone's mean, but like it's like actively harmful, and also it's super isolating. You feel like you're always running from something or trying to just survive, and there's not really friendship. Words are hard, y'all. Yeah, she felt super alone, and for some reason, one day she found a way to go to the human world and look like a human person, and she fell in love with that. So, like, the thing she likes to do the most is just be around humans. She goes to different human gatherings and events and public gatherings and like club meetings at the school. Like, she's like in a million clubs because she just goes to she doesn't care. She likes being around people and hearing them talk. It's halfway between people watching and just like wanting to be around people. Are we talking about greatest fears also?
You know what? Yeah, we should talk about greatest fears. I forgot to write that on the spreadsheet, so I forgot to ask Ty about it. But yeah, what is her greatest fear?
Not being able to come to the human world anymore, like losing that connection, being stuck in the Undertow forever.
Okay. All right, let me just add a quick row here to get that in here. Ty, do you know what Quentin's greatest fear is?
I'm trying to think. I had a couple. I'm trying to workshop them still. I think, all right, come back to me. I'm still thinking on it.
All right, yeah, you got it. Crystal, let's do you next.
Okie dokie.
What do you got?
My character's name is Alexis Lorenzen, but people call her Lore.
How do you spell Lorenzen?
Lorentzen.
Tzen. Okay. Alexis Lore Lorenzen. Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell me about him.
Her Eidolon is vivid memories turned to fantasies.
Right, from the album Mouth Sounds.
Yes.
Which can bring photographs to life. I'm not sure what the best way to word this is.
I would say, so the way the alchemist thing is phrased is my Eidolon can turn blank it touches into blank. So I would say maybe my Eidolon can turn photographs it touches into the subject of the photograph. Does that work?
Yeah, I'm thinking how, like, because we talked before about it would bring it back into a perfect representation of that subject at the moment the photo was taken. Like, should that be part of the description?
I think you can infer it from the subject of the photograph, and like we know that that's what that means.
Okay.
So I don't think it needs to. We don't want to make the Eidolon powers themselves like super long and complicated. We understand what they mean, and that's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Touches into the subject of that photograph. Okay. And what is Alexis's like deal? Who is she?
I think she's kind of a conspiracy theorist, investigative journalist type.
Okay.
I think she is college age, but she doesn't actually go to this school. She's investigating something weird happening at this school, and she just hangs out in Mr. Quentin's class because Mr. Quentin doesn't care.
Great.
If we're comparing her to a Persona character, I guess the closest one would be like Naoto.
Okay, sure. Yeah,
but not nearly as buttoned up. Definitely not an elegant person, more of a bizarre person.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Appearance is probably closer to like Jessica Jones from Marvel.
Okay, yeah.
Like not very fashionable, dresses kind of to blend in so she can access places.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, I like it. What? Let me put in the numbers here. What were you thinking stat-wise? You just want to go with the defaults or mix them up?
I like...
By default, the Alchemist has 0 power, -1 elegance, 0 genius, 1 glamorous, and 2 bizarre.
The only change I would make to that is move my 1 to genius instead of glamorous.
Okay, we can do that. -1, 1, 0, and 2. Okay. And did you have a greatest fear in mind for Alexis?
I think her vision of justice is to uncover the truth of things. So her greatest fear would be like to lose her mind so she can't tell like what's real or not.
Okay, yeah. All right. What about like feeling unable to trust her own mind? Is that a kind of concise way to put it?
Yes.
All right. And then the Alchemist's starting moves are Mold Reality. This is where you use your Eidolon's ability to transform something it's touching into something else. You roll plus biz. On a 10+, your ability has the exact effect you intended, and the transformation is flawless. On a 7 to 9, you get pretty close to what you were trying to do. The GM will describe what went wrong. If you attempt to transform the body of something with a mind, it can resist you. Your Eidolon can only transform the direct points of contact that it makes, regardless of what you roll. That last little bit is just so you can't just go turning people into apples on me.
Mm-hmm.
You can turn part of their skin into apple skin, and that sucks. But you can't just instantly applefy anybody. It doesn't really apply to Alexis's power, though, since she just works with photographs. She also has Revert. If you or your Eidolon touches something you've transformed, you can make it turn back to its original form. Healing Touch. You can only take this move if your Eidolon's power can somehow heal wounds. If it's ambiguous, get approval from your GM and fellow players for taking this move. When you and a wounded person or group of people are not under an impending threat, you can attempt to heal them. Roll plus tie with the target you're healing. On a 10+, they gain 3 HP. On a 7 to 9, they gain 1 HP. It does not strike me that your power can, like, have healing effects, but convince me otherwise if you want to.
Well, what if I, like, take a picture of a first aid kit and then get a first aid kit with my power?
I would say that in that case, you have a first aid kit, but the actual, like, you're not magically healing somebody. Like, the idea of healing touch is more like, oh, I can turn wounds into healed flesh. That, like, there's no magic happening if you're making a first aid kit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in that case, I can't think of a way I would have healing touch.
Okay, then I'm going to delete it. That's fine. You still have two other teammates that can heal, and I think
we
Mike
have 2 healers.
I think Mike also has some healing moves, so it'll be fine.
Potentially, but I wasn't really planning to spec that way.
Hey, that's fine. You've got plenty of healers in this party. And then your last power is Destructive Alchemy. If your Eidolon uses its transformation ability with the intent to cause harm, treat it as scrapping or bombarding, whichever applies, instead of molding reality and inflict +1 damage. By default, the Alchemist has pretty low damage, and this is just kind of to incentivize you to try to attack using your Eidolon power instead of directly fighting someone with your Eidolon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you have an advanced move in mind?
I don't want to take any of the range stuff yet because I like having touch being a limitation, at least starting out.
Okay, yeah.
So I think I'll take a delayed reaction, which is when I use mold reality, instead of making the transformation take place right away, I can choose to hold it and spend that hold at any time.
Yeah, basically, this is... If you're a JoJo fan, this is when a guy's banana turns into a gun after Giorno's already left the prison. Yeah, you've made it happen, but you can decide when it actually triggers. Sounds good to me. And then I think that we've got you covered then. All right, so yeah, Mike, why don't we move on to you?
Okay. I think I've settled on... I still haven't settled on a last name, but I'm going to go with my character being named James.
James, all right.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a nickname, but he really wishes he did. Deep down in his heart of hearts, he thinks he's a pretty smart guy, and he wishes people called him the Wizard.
Great.
I'm leaning hard on my character being a total dorko, so that's... Yeah.
Do you have an Eidolon name?
Yeah, Time After Time.
Great. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. Crystal, what does your Eidolon look like?
I instead of going JoJo's or Persona, I was kind of more inspired by his Dark Materials.
Yeah, I know nothing about that, but my understanding is daemons are also basically personas.
Yeah, they're your soul outside of your body.
Okay, yeah.
So I was thinking, we talk about in the human world, they might have a more mundane form.
Yeah.
So I was thinking in the human world, it'd just be like a cat that hangs out on my shoulder. And then in the undertow, it's maybe like a cat furry.
All right. Yeah, I like it.
Big furry party here.
Yeah, this is a fairly furry party.
Self-selecting.
If I remember right, Zoe's Eidolon is more of a scaly.
Yeah, same family.
Yeah. Mike, what does Time After Time look like?
So we've talked about how things can sort of manifest differently in the undertow and in the real world.
Right.
So what I'm going to go with is in the real world, Time After Time is just a wristwatch that James can wear. But in the undertow, Time After Time manifests as this giant owl.
Okay. Yeah, I like it. And you're playing as the Navigator, which is kind of it's inspired by your Futabas and your Riseis from Persona. You're kind of the support person. You're doing combat analysis, trying to buff other people. Your power is my Eidolon can perfectly sense blank in the area around it. You get one thing that you can perfectly perceive and comprehend. What is your thing?
So cards on the table, I wanted to kind of try and make my character a bit like the Clock King.
Hell yeah.
And we kind of talked about, before this, try and find a right way to phrase that. And I'm going to go with my Eidolon can perfectly sense patterns in the area around it.
Okay.
If something regularly happens or repeats, my character can tell that it's been happening and will continue to happen.
That is a really cool power that I feel like we will be able to do a lot of fun things with.
Yeah. I hope so. In terms of stats, I think I'm just going to stick with the default.
Okay, and in the Navigator's case, that is -1 power, 0 elegance, 2 genius, 0 glam, and 1 bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very genius focused class. You're the smarty pants. You're the only person with 2 genius in this team so far.
Yeah. Which kind of makes sense. My character archetype's kind of the thinker.
Yeah.
So it says at creation I have to choose an area of expertise for my character to have.
Oh, right, yeah, I need to make room for that on here. Yeah, this is, at creation, choose an area of expertise, a topic on which your brain is a comprehensive and encyclopedic compendium.
So, despite this weird offshoot elective that my character is in, I'm going to assume that he is majoring in biology, but his passion is entomology. Dude loves bugs.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so you just know a ton of shit about bugs.
Yeah.
Great. Love it.
You can't see me over here, but I'm nodding serenely. Yeah.
The Navigator's starting moves are Ready for Anything. When you spend time researching and making preparations before a dangerous mission, roll plus Genius. On a 10+, hold 3. On a 7-9, hold 1. During the mission, you can spend 1 hold to take +1 when revealing your master plan, which is a basic move. We'll get to it. You also have Enemy Analysis. When you attack an enemy by exploiting a weakness you discovered investigating them, investigates another basic move, deal +2 damage instead of +1. And Technobabble. If you refer to your area of expertise when dazzling someone, roll plus Gen instead of plus Glam.
Okay.
And then you get an advanced move. What do you want?
I'm going to go with Dredge Your Mind to start.
Okay.
When you search your memory for relevant information regarding your current situation, roll plus Genius and take +1 if it's related to your area of expertise. On a 10+, you recall specific and useful information described by the GM. On a 7-9, the information will be vague and potentially less useful. The GM will ask how you know this information.
Yeah. All right. Okay. What is James's... We got a little bit of a snapshot of who he is. He's a smart guy who wants to be known as the wizard and loves bugs.
Yeah.
Give us a little more about who he is.
It's kind of that cliched person who just all throughout school never really had any friends, wasn't especially popular, and then really, really, really hoped college would be a fresh start for him, and then it super wasn't. He basically only knows the people in this class, and only then because it was the class smallest enough that he regularly wound up talking to people.
Okay, yeah. I like it. And do you have a greatest fear for James?
Yeah, so I like to think my guy is... he's very much about routine and order, and everything is neat and orderly, and just... I think his greatest fear is a loss of control.
Okay.
And we kind of talked about it a little bit before we started recording. I'm trying to think of a way to phrase that so that it's not like too vague.
Yeah.
I think my character's greatest fear is losing control over his own destiny.
Ooh, okay, yeah. Losing control of his own destiny. Dang. All right, I like it. Ty, we have a few loose ends to tie up with you. Have you thought of a greatest fear? For Quentin.
Let me summon my giant spider to tie up those loose ends. Okay, so greatest fear. I like this going back to kind of the person they are now. They're worried about the people they screwed up by being a smart fucking know-it-all JoJo character coming back to haunt them. They're scared of their history kind of catching up with them.
I see. Okay, yeah. Their past catching up with them. Love it. So I'm not going to get super deep in mechanics right this second. How greatest fear plays into it. Mostly it is a role-playing thing for y'all to know, like, this is the thing that is, like, this is the psychological weak point of my character. When it becomes relevant gameplay-wise, there is something called the Phantom Clock? I've renamed it a few times. I think Phantom Clock is what it's called now. Every time you dredge the undertow, which is one of the basic moves, where you kind of try to see through the veil of reality and grasp some deeper truth. Every time you use that move and fail, or anytime you spend overdrive on a move and fail, you'll advance the Phantom Clock. And when the Phantom Clock hits midnight, your Eidolon goes berserk. It becomes a phantom, which is just a powerful enemy, and it undergoes a transformation that is inspired by your greatest fear. So, yeah, just something to keep in mind.
Hey.
And then, Ty, do you have an advanced move picked out?
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now that I know everybody else's moves, I won't take anything that overlaps. Or anything else that overlaps, I should say. Let's go with the, I got friends in blah, 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 blah. What's the Vanguard one? Sorry, I was looking.
Oh, yeah, it's, World Traveler?
Yeah, World Traveler.
Yeah, this is take the Friends Everywhere move from the Vanguard playbook. If Vanguard's your former playbook, you don't have to use like old times to use it. And friends everywhere, which might come up when we do Zoe's character. But friends everywhere, when you arrive somewhere that you've been before, you can ask a favor of the friends you have there and roll plus glam. On a 10 plus, they'll be able to help you out. On a 7 to 9, they'll be supportive, but not able to offer any meaningful help. So yeah, that makes sense as a thing to take. And yeah, I think without having Zoe here, that is everything we can do on this. Let me ask y'all this. I have got... We talked about this before we started recording, when Zoe had to let us know that she's got to drop out tonight. I have got several pages of notes. We have about 50 minutes left before we would have to call it for a night. Do you want to get started tonight, or do you want to punt and wait for the next session to actually start when we can get Zoe in here? If we start now, we'll either just say Zoe's character has been here all along, just kind of retcon it, or we will find a natural point for her to join up with your characters. What do you think?
I'm good going today, so if everyone else is good.
I would prefer to wait for Zoe, but if I'm outvoted, I'll roll with it.
Okay.
I'm also on the side of waiting for the full cast.
Yeah.
Can I pitch you on an alternate idea?
Okay, yeah, hit me.
Can we do a prologue thing of how you all got in this class? Since it's like a weird mystery to get in here, what was your trick to get into this class?
All right, yeah, sure, yeah. We can do this.
All right. Can I jump in first? Because I feel like mine is the simplest.
Go for it. Did you say the name of your class, Ty?
No.
We should say it.
Let me.
Yeah, what did you have? You wrote it down earlier. It's very silly. It's like narrative musicology and the occult philosophy of storytelling. Is that what it is?
Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
It's just stories instead of storytelling. It's even sillier.
Narrative musicology and the occult philosophy of stories. Just the most BS sounding name for a class. So yeah, Mike, how did you come to be enrolled in narrative musicology and the occult philosophy of stories?
So my character just needed an elective and literally asked the person, like the counselor who was helping him put his schedule together, point blank, what elective has the fewest people in it right now?
It's like, wait, well, this class has 7 people in it. Wait, there's an extra page to this? There's only 1 on this last page. Where's this even come? There's 2 people enrolled in this one.
I'll take it.
I did have a philosophy course in college that only had 3 students in it.
You think maybe this class is also like on a weird building in campus that's hard to get to and like at a weird time that no one can make?
Yeah, I hadn't thought about time. My notes absolutely specify that it is a basement classroom in a building that is very bizarrely laid out and kind of hard to navigate.
My question was going to be, was this always a classroom, or was this like a storage space that's a classroom now, or something else?
The building is mostly the gymnasium, and most people don't realize there are classrooms in it.
I like that it's kind of a story. Like it's like concrete ass walls, and like it's a storage space, and like
yeah. All right, we can go with that.
There's a drain in the middle of the room.
Yeah, what I had was that, like, it is a real classroom, but it's kind of an abandoned one because it's hard to get to. Like, it hasn't been cleaned lately at all.
Mm. Well, it could be a real classroom that they just started putting storage stuff in.
There we go. Yeah, just synthesize the ideas. I like it. Good. Yeah. All right, so that's how James got into this class. Fabi, with how outgoing and sociable Ursa is, this seems like how did she end up in this one?
She is registered for every class, like every single class. Listen, some technology is weird, magic is weird, like powers bizarre. She just registered herself to every single class. And she tends to prefer the ones that are the most full, but there's something about this class that she likes, and she likes hanging around it.
Great.
I think it's mostly the classroom. I think she likes coming because it's the only class in this classroom, and she has not a reel, maybe a reel. She has like a map of the school, and then she's trying to have a class in every single classroom.
Great, good.
Trying to catch them all.
Crystal, why is this the class Alexis is squatting in?
I think she squats in a lot of classes. She definitely prefers some of the larger ones because it's so easy to blend in. But with this one, she's heard of Mr. Quentin before and knows that Mr. Quentin will not say anything to her, will not make her leave.
Okay, all right. And I actually just realized we do have a step of character creation I forgot to take us through. It's an important one too. We got to do our ties, or your ties. I'm not a player. So ties are a system in this game that basically just define what your character cares about. You'll form ties a lot when we're actually playing. During play, you create a tie anytime you sacrifice something important to you for the sake of something else, and you create a tie with the thing that you sacrifice for. To get us started, though, just to kind of ground your characters, all of you are going to have 3 ties. At least one of them needs to be with another party member, and at least one of them needs to be not another party member. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. And I think because Zoe's not here, 1 or 2 of you should have a tie to Zoe's character that we can just kind of we'll write in later. You don't need this isn't like Bonds in Dungeon World where it's like a specific thing. Like you're not going to write a whole sentence. It's just I'm tied to this. This is something I care about.
I'll leave one open for Zoe.
Okay,
yeah,
sounds good.
I kind of wanted to leave one open for Zoe as well.
All right, I can just mark both of you down. Let's put parentheses Zoe's character. Ty, what are you thinking for ties?
This is gonna be a thing. Okay, great. My first one is the student body of. Oh wow! Did we ever go over the name of the school?
Yes, we did. It is Joseph University of North Gibsonburg, which was suggested because it abbreviates to Jung, and
To what? I'm sorry.
Is it Jung?
Yes.
Jung?
Yeah,
Jung,
it's Jung.
probably Jung.
He's Swiss.
All right, Jung. The college is... He might be Swiss. The college is in Ohio.
All right, the student body of Jung thinks I'm a wizard or a Dracula or some other weird rumor about me, which is good because they avoid me and don't make me do things.
All right, great. So you are tied to the Jung student body. Yeah, and ties can be to individual people. They can be to groups. They can be to ideas. They can be to literally anything your character values enough to make sacrifices for. Do we want to just kind of go like you said 1? Do we want to move on to Fabi and just kind of we'll fill them in one by one here?
Yeah.
All right, yeah, Fabi, what's something that Ursa is tied to?
I'm having a real hard time with these because it's hard for me to So I was thinking because I was thinking them more closer like Bond. So I was thinking having one with Zoe and one with Mike's character, but maybe not since they aren't like Bonds.
I mean, you can absolutely still have ties to those characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if your character's not from the quote unquote real world, maybe the few people you know are pretty important to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mechanically they're pretty similar to how bonds work in Dungeon World. It's just not you're not writing out oh, I think James is a real dipshit and I'm gonna clown on him like you do in Dungeon World,
Mm-hmm. No, so for James' character, I think it was I'm tied to James. Something like the feeling of isolation, because James kind of feels kind of isolated, but in a different way than me. I'm also isolated because my world is full of demons, and whereas he's isolated for other reasons.
Sure, but basically you kind of see a kindred spirit in James, even though your circumstances are different. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you are tied to James. what's James tied to, Mike?
Oh, I'm gonna go with shoot. I'm gonna go with music.
Ooh.
James is really into music. It's one of his few refuges. It's one of the few things he does kind of as a hobby. He spends a lot of time alone, and a lot of that alone time is spent just listening to tunes. He's got a record collection. Just, yeah.
Nice.
I keep giving my character hobbies I don't know anything about. This is going to be great.
You're going to have to be doing a lot of Wikipedia trawling on music and bugs. They're just going to meet in the middle, and he's going to be a huge Adamant fan. Going to be really into Alien Ant Farm. Everyone only knows the Smooth Criminal cover, but actually, if you dig a little deeper...
Yeah, the movies was so good, y'all.
They released it twice.
Crystal, what is something that you are tied to? That Alexis is tied to, rather.
I think the person I would be tied to would be Quentin. Because we're both alchemists, or Quentin used to be an alchemist. And I think maybe the reason I found my way to this class is because I knew him previously, or maybe kind of knew him.
Okay, yeah.
I dig it.
All right, yeah. So yeah, you have some kind of past with Quentin that we can fill in as we play. I like it. All right, so that means I'm rolling back around to you, Ty. What is something else you have a tie with?
Okay, so allowing, I'm gonna, you can veto this if you want,
sure.
But I'm gonna say Mike, what was your character's name again?
James.
I was gonna say I see a lot of myself in James, and I want to make sure they don't make my similar mistakes.
I like that. The only thing I would say is that someone already has a tie to James, which might be fine. Let's put it for now, but we might want to shuffle it if it turns out that something's lopsided. But for now, let's say it's fine. Fabi, what is something or someone else you have a tie to, or Ursa has a tie to?
Yeah, for Ursa, I feel like I need to, and I want to do something either with humanity, with the school, with people. Are those too big? Do
you think that Ursa would sacrifice something important to her for the sake of the school?
Yes.
Okay, then I think that's fine.
The school as in the school body, and not, a little bit for the building too, yeah.
Well, yeah, is it the school as, a place and as an institution and the people that make it up? Or is it, you were also kind of saying, people, is it just, the human race? You can be tied to that, sure.
Yeah, it feels a little too big, but also, yeah, it's kind of like the human race. As far as she knows, they're great.
Yeah, all right, I like it.
That history class says that some of them were kind of bad, but they seem all right.
She doesn't pay attention during that one.
No, she skips that one.
Mike, what is someone or something else that James is tied to?
Oh, shoot, can you come back to me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. Crystal, what's one more for Alexis?
I'm thinking something along the lines of the truth.
Okay, yeah. It can just be the truth.
Yeah. But
I like it.
Because I want to leave the door open that, lore can lie to people. It's truth more in, a speaking truth to power kind of
right, it's the capital T truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it. Ty, what is your last tie for Quentin?
Okay, so I was gonna make this an individual character tie, but let's say this. Could I make it the class? All the students in this class?
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah.
Okay, so basically I see all these students, I'm like, you guys need some flair for the dramatics. You need to really just dramatic it up. So
the only pushback I give there, though, is that a big difference from the whole college student body?
I think it would be by virtue of the fact that it's more localized.
Okay.
Although I think it kind of overlaps his tie to James.
Yeah.
That's true. It kind of has a foot in both of your existing ties.
Okay, let's see.
Does Quentin have any family? or a spouse or a partner.
Yeah, let's say that. Let's say Quentin has a family. They don't want you don't get involved in this Undertow mess.
Oh, so do they kind of know about, like, the shit he got up to before?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's all vague. Yeah, it's like, you don't need to know about this. You don't want no part of this.
Great, good. What is Quentin's family? Like, are we talking about, like, a partner and kids, or are we talking about, like, siblings and parents? I mean, obviously it can be more, but, like, what are you imagining as kind of the immediate family
Oh wow, this is
presence?
definitely a question I didn't think about. Yeah, you'll have to get back to me on. Let me think of this Quentin's family. Okay.
All right, yeah. I want to know. But yeah, I'll come back to you. Ursa, what is your last tie?
So, should I leave this for Zoe, or should I try to think of something else, since Mike was
we can
already
leave it for
having
Zoe.
one for Zoe?
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just put Zoe's character in parentheses here.
Yeah. I think from what we've talked about in the Discord before we start recording, I think it's gonna have to do something to do with Zoe's shyness.
Yeah. Zoe kind of gave us a rough idea of her character, and kind of the idea is that she's the Vanguard, which is the very up-in-your-face, punchy class, but her character is very kind of meek and shy, kind of playing against type. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Like trying to get her out of her shell somehow. Although maybe that's too close to the one with James.
No, that's fine. You can relate to multiple people on similar levels.
Yeah.
I can?
Yeah. And then Mike, so you can give that last slot to Zoe. One thing I am noticing right now, nobody has a tie to Ursa or to Alexis.
Okay.
So you don't necessarily have to fill that gap, but those gaps are there, and it would be nice if they were filled.
Yeah.
Pending Zoe wanting to take one of those, let's go ahead and say that I'll take those, just by virtue of the fact, like I said, outside of the class, James doesn't have a whole lot of friends, so he probably really values the other people in the class.
Okay, yeah. Well, and Ursa is very, like, friendly and outgoing and, like, trying to make a lot of friendships, so that makes sense you would kind of latch onto that. Yeah. What do you think is kind of the basis of your...
Also, I haven't described what Ursa wears on when she looks normal.
Oh, yeah.
When Ty said that his character doesn't think these kids need to be more dramatic, her outfits are very dramatic. She wears things people would think wouldn't work, but somehow it kind of like neon plastic boots and like a jean jacket and a feather boa, but it kind of works.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough, she has like the weird confidence on someone who doesn't know they're making mistakes.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So yeah, that's why you don't have that tie to the whole.
Yeah, I was about to say.
No, clearly Ursula's got it figured out. Alexis, honestly, she's got it figured out. This James kid, though, he needs help.
Yeah, well, what I was gonna say is, for the connection with Alexa, so she's like an investigative journalist kind of type, kind of a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
There's got to be some really nerdy thing that she and James can bond over, right? Like there's some weird thing that they're both like into. Not sure what it would be. Maybe she also likes bugs and he impresses her with his bug knowledge, but
clockmaking.
I was gonna say, what about like that thing where they've done like experiments of like putting robot circuitry and stuff into cocoons so that the like bugs form around them, and like any bug you see might be like a spy drone, actually. That seems like something Alexis might be interested in and James would know about. I don't know, I'm throwing ideas out.
Yeah.
Yeah, not saying you have to take that. I've just, first thing that popped into my head when I'm trying to think of like where your interests overlap.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe just a love of sci-fi, honestly.
Okay. Yeah.
Because like if James is trying to be like a real deal scientist, and
Right.
sci-fi is all full of like, political messaging and stuff, despite what the nerds will tell you.
Right.
So maybe just like, I don't know, maybe just love of genre fiction, I guess.
Does that work for you, Crystal?
Yeah, we both love The Matrix.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
That's good. That's good shit.
That'll be useful that you have that cultural touchstone as you go into the Undertow.
Absolutely.
All right, Crystal, what is your final tie?
I think Lore's vision of justice is like she wants to expose people, but she doesn't want to kill people. She doesn't want to grind them into dust like Zoe's character. So maybe something like life, the value of life.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a way to phrase it in terms of like Alexis would sacrifice to protect lives. Is that the idea?
Yeah, I would go out of my way to avoid directly hurting someone physically.
So
Okay.
Pacifism?
Yeah.
I think it can be pacifism. It can be life. Are you thinking of it in terms of like you don't want to hurt people, or is it more like you don't want to hurt? Like, are you the kind of person like, oh no, don't kill that bug, just put it outside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh shit! You know what? That might also be a good thing for.
There you go.
Yeah. The value of the lives of bugs might be a touching thing.
Yeah, I like
Bugs
it.
are people too.
Yeah. We can also still keep the Matrix thing if you want. Like I thought that was funny.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that can be in there. We're not saying that Alexis would give something up for the Matrix. Yeah. Yeah. Like, to be clear, what we're saying is that like you're tied to Alexis, and all the stuff about sci-fi is just kind of that's us shading in why you're tied to Alexis. But on your character sheet,
Right.
it just says Alexis.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I like this. If any of y'all want to change any of this before our next session starts, we can obviously do that. Once we start playing, it's going to be more locked in, though, we can do what we want.
And we might also
And,
end up wanting to change something based on what Zoe's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this is a playtest. It might turn out some of the moves y'all have are bad or poorly balanced. I might say, hey, this move works completely differently now. Who can say? And if it comes into that situation, it's like, well, you'd rather have something different now. That's fine, and we can work around that. That's the fun of not having something that's finalized. Zoe, we need to create your character.
Yeah.
You did most of it already.
Yeah.
How you doing, Zoe? Welcome to the show.
Hi, happy to be here. Thank you for asking me to play.
Yeah, absolutely. So Zoe, you are playing as the Vanguard.
Yes.
I've got your character name written down here as Sloane Parker. Tell me about Sloane.
Sloane is, she is a college student at the university. What name are we going with again?
It is I've got it written down in my notes. I think Maxie from the other group suggested what we settled on, the Joseph University of North Gibsonburg.
So it's Jung.
Yeah, it
Okay,
abbreviates to Jung.
cool, okay.
To Jung.
Yep,
Is it young?
is it, yep.
We had literally the same discussion last time.
Oh no!
It's
We did.
Jung. Pronounce it as good or as poorly as you want. I don't care. We also learned that Eidolon isn't pronounced Eidolon, and I'm still gonna say it that way.
Sorry.
Pronunciation is fake.
So Sloane is she's a student at Jung, or Young, and she is a much like myself once, was a screenwriting major, and is, not super happy with her major, not super happy with college. She has kind of been a little bit more alone than she thought she would be. And is kind of struggling to make some friends, and is hoping that, maybe she'll find some people to hang out with, but has mostly just been hanging out in her dorm room with her roommate who she hates.
All right, great. Fantastic. All right, I'm just copying in the stats you gave me. She has got 2 power,
Yep.
-1 elegance, 0 genius, 1 glamorous, and 0 biz.
Correct.
Yeah, and is that the default for Vanguard, or?
That's so. I may have misunderstood. The default for Vanguard is under the Start a Riot stats that I listed. I thought that I wasn't sure if that was for the Eidolon or for
Gotcha.
the character.
No, you are your Eidolon, so you have the same stats. The stats in the book are just kind of the defaults, the suggested stats that you can tweak if you want to.
Okay, then actually, no, I did the exact same thing. So
Yeah, no,
cool,
you
great.
got them the same, it looks like. All right, and then it looks like for starting moves, you took Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Increase your damage by 1 and decrease your armor by 1.
Mm-hmm.
You can roll plus POW instead of plus Ellie when beating the odds.
Mm-hmm.
So you did not take Power of Friendship,
No.
which allows you to take -3 instead of -2 when other players hinder you. When they successfully help you, you can spend 1 overdrive to take +2 instead of +1. Take +1 when helping or do. Take +1 when helping or dazzling anyone you have a tie with. There we go. That's how words.
Words are hard. It's okay.
Yeah. Tell me about Sloane's Eidolon.
So Sloane's Eidolon is Start a Riot, after the Duckworth song that I really enjoy. She is a large, buff lady with dragon wings and dragon claws. Her hair is kind of smoldering, and it's kind of short, and she is breathing smoke, kind of by default, and can breathe fire when she wants to. And she's got a big old axe, like double-headed battle axe, that's as tall as she is.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. And then you've got her greatest fear as being alone.
Mm-hmm. So she's not doing
All right.
so great right now, what with not making friends.
Gotcha. All right, and you also have the starting move, Breakthrough. Use your Eidolon's power to force your way through a physical obstacle. Roll plus POW. On a 10+, choose 3. On a 7 to 9, choose 1. And the options are you do it quickly, you do it quietly, there's no collateral damage, or nobody gets hurt. And then on top of that, you also get to give her an advanced move. Do you know what you want to give her?
I'm gonna go with Unstoppable, just because it syncs well with the Daredevil and syncs well with her being kind of a juggernaut.
Okay, and what is Unstoppable?
During combat, if you take damage that would reduce your HP to 0, you may explain why this fight is too important for you to lose. If you do, the damage is delayed until after combat, but take -1 ongoing for the rest of the battle. Any more damage you take during this combat isn't delayed. You can only use this move once per session.
Yeah, so that's a cool thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I keep running into a problem with this, where every time we talk about something cool in this game, I remember that I wrote it and feel like an asshole for saying that it's cool.
Just send someone a DM, and then we will say it's cool.
Yeah.
and that
There
way
you go,
you'll still be an asshole, but it'll sound less like an asshole move.
Just fucking whisper like, "Fucking Mike, it's your turn." Oh shit, that sounds dope as hell,
how
dog.
rad!
Y'all tell me I did a good job, please. I need the validation. All right, so then we also need to do Sloane's ties. So you need 1 tie to something that is not another party member, and 1 tie that is another party member.
Okay, so 1 tie to something that isn't a party member.
Yeah, something or someone.
Someone. I think, just to go full, like, fun last action hero style, she has a kind of a friendship with the local manager of the movie theater.
Okay.
And she kind of hangs out there sometimes, and they let her sneak in. And for someone in the party, I read everyone's characters, but obviously, like, I didn't get a quick like a rundown. So
Yeah.
if anyone wants to pitch their character, just tell me about them. We could kind of work from there.
Do you have a name in mind for the movie theater manager, or should I be pulling up the name generator?
All yours.
All right, I'll figure that out while you figure out your tie to the party.
So I chose a tie with your character.
Okay.
Before we knew your character. I basically on what you had said when we were talking about them. My character has changed a little bit since the first time I talked about them. So I'll run her real quick. Her name is Ursa. Or you probably know her as Ursula Bear because she was misheard when she said what her name was. She's a bear girl. She's a bear girl, except she looks like a normal person in the school. She is the Inhuman, so she's a shade, basically, maybe. We don't know. And like the idea I had for the tie for your character was that my greatest fear is to be forced back into the undertow and not be around humans anymore. So the reason I thought your character would have like a connection with mine is that you seem really shy. So like seeing someone that doesn't have to be that someone that isn't like forced to be away from humanity and might not want to be around it would make her want to get you out of your shell.
Yeah, and like I think that would be a good tie because Ursa could have the connection, obviously, of I am a friend. I am like a anchor point to the real world, whereas Sloane would have the good connection of I actually have a friend. So. Yeah, I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to make that a two-way tie? Give you a tie with Ursa just like she has a tie with you?
Yeah, I think that'd work.
All right. So then you get one more, and this is kind of whatever you want it to be. It can be another party member, or it can be anything else.
Well, anyone else, like, think that a connection would be solid? Or, I mean, I can figure something out. I kind of left the ties open just because I didn't know what you guys had been up to.
Right, and this is something that's definitely easier to do when everybody's doing it at the same time, but hey, circumstances happen.
Yeah, sorry.
No, not at all. That's gonna be, I'm gonna print up t-shirts that say circumstances happen.
So a tie is something that you'd be willing to sacrifice other things for the sake of.
Correct.
How does that apply to Sloane?
I think that Sloane, she puts a higher value on relationships than she lets on. Because, like, if you just saw her, she looks like a loner. She looks kind of sad or mean. And I think that if she establishes relationships with people, they're very important to her. And so she would do almost anything for that.
Well, so how about this? This is maybe a bit abstract.
Mm-hmm.
If the thing she really wants is to make more friends than she currently has, what if her tie is and the tie is something you sacrifice things for? What if her tie is friends she does not yet have? Is that too esoteric or?
If you're asking me, the answer is no. But
Okay.
The idea of friendship.
Yeah, I have a tie to the concept of friendship.
I like it.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I think that's fun.
All right. Then in that case, we have just one small thing we need to address before we're totally done with character creation. And Mike, you told me this during the week, but what is James's last name?
Shit.
James.
I can look back at our
James
chat
James.
history.
It was something super generic. I remember that.
Yeah.
Was it Studebaker?
No, but it wasn't far away from Studebaker.
It might have been Studebaker.
I think it was. I remember reading that in the Discord
maybe you're
earlier
right.
today.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, it is Studebaker. Yep.
Okay.
All right, and then Ty, what is Quentin's full name? I don't even know if Quentin is his first or last name.
It's going to be Brooks. Quentin Brooks.
Quentin Brooks. Professor Brooks. All right.
Does Quentin have a doctorate? Is he Dr. Brooks?
Maybe.
I like the idea of leaving that question unanswered for the time being. We'll find out.
He definitely has somewhere.
Yeah.
I like to think he had a doctorate, but like you have to maintain those, so
I was just gonna think to
Didn't bother.
the community thing of like, you graduated from Columbia. Yes. The nation.
Exactly. Alright, I think we're all set and ready to actually play then. Hey everybody, Luke here. Thanks for listening. Eidolon Pop will be starting in earnest 2 weeks from now, on April 20th. Next week will be the character creation episode for Eidolon Rock, which you can listen to right now at patreon.com/EidolonPlaytest. $1 subscribers get episodes a week early. $3 subscribers get a monthly game design podcast with me and Molly, as well as a peek at my GM notes. And $5 subscribers get immediate access to the current draft of Eidolon, Become Your Best Self, as well as a shout-out on the podcast. Speaking of which, shout-outs to August, David, Stub5678, and the Z-Mage. Visit audioentropy.com for a bunch of other great podcasts featuring many of the folks on this one. You can follow this show on Twitter at Eidolon Playtest. Follow Ty at Sirius Tiberius, Fabi at Fabi_Garza, Mike at Mike Loves Rabbit, Zoe at Blankzilla, Crystal at Arcane Crystal, and me at SSJ Speed Racer. Big thanks to Maxie for the Eidolon Pop theme song Party Crasher. See you next time!